Cullen goes live in 2 minutes. Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
And a good morning to you. This is going to be our first full week for some time. If you're hearing that sound, that's our printer, isn't it? Yeah, I'm hearing them. That's our printer attempting to print something, which is always problematic. What a beautiful Monday. And welcome to the first full week of programs of this here program, Lynn Cullen Live, in a few weeks. We have been in, out, up, down, and it's been getting me down. But we are back. And this is the first show today of our new producer, who I will simply wish good luck and all the best to Celine Roberts. We'll give her a little time to break herself in and find out if she ends up with a... Look at this. What is this? Look at this. It printed out. Nothing works. We are slaves to these machines. Do you remember they still do say, "Oh, this will save you so much time." And the whole internet thing was supposed to save us time, technology, time, everything was supposed to save us time. And all it's done is eat up our minutes and hours of our lives so that we're all slaves to these things. I watched a woman this morning walk on a city street against the light, totally against the light. She was walking on a red light at the intersection. There were cars going, and she did not even look up to see if she was absolutely face down in her smartphone. Good Lord. Did I read somewhere that at the University of Pittsburgh, they're actually offering some kind of educational materials to incoming freshmen about how to walk across a street? I thought that's the kind of thing you learned in preschool. But it is true, and I said when the students all came back, there was one day where I swear I almost killed 2 of them. And I was very angry at them. If I hadn't killed them, I wanted to kill them. Made me such a wreck. Okay, so all the bad news continues apace. And I happened to be talking to a rabbi this weekend. This was not my rabbi. This guy is originally he's from Australia. He lives now in Jerusalem. Young man, to my mind. Oh, it's so awful when you get old. Everybody's young. Everybody's young. And we were talking about, I was saying, how the heck is anybody, I said, I've been saying for years, I'll get to it. I know I keep starting a sentence and not finishing. That you've heard this rant before, that we humans will be the undoing of we humans. I have little doubt of that. We are at once incredible geniuses, masters of our environment, changers of our environment. We create machines, we do this, we do that. And as it turns out, the report over the weekend tells us, we have managed to kill off about half of all species that were alive on this planet. Just what was it, 50 years ago, 40 years ago? But anyway, back to our genius. So the machinery we've created has run away with us, hanging on. If I was a cartoonist, I could do a cartoon of us just hanging on by our fingernails as technology sweeps us away. And it's not just us individually who are hanging on by our fingernails. It's all of the institutions that we created to civilize us. Government, schools, legal systems, ethics, everything that we have sort of created to try to temper the baser instincts of the geniuses that we are. Institutions don't turn on dimes, they can't. So they struggle even more than we, the individual, struggle to keep up with this world that is changing. We were laughing, the rabbi and me, about how, the change from hunter-gatherers, which is what humans were, to agriculture occurred over tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years, thousands of thousands of years for all I know. I don't know. A long, long time. And so people very slowly had the opportunity, generation after generation, to sort of adjust. And then the next big change from agriculture to industry. That all of these changes are disconcerting and change the whole game. But there has always been, up until now, time for institutions and people to eventually catch up. Things were rougher when the industrial age came in. Change was happening more rapidly. But now, whatever this age is we're in now, the information age, the technological age, the run away from us age, we, the human animal, cannot adjust. Just when you got something sort of mastered, some piece of technology that is a must to live in the environment we've created, it becomes obsolete. And something new comes in. And I would imagine that people in their 30s and 40s even start, speaking of that, what was I listening to? Oh my God, I was listening to something, and it was about new technology. And it was, I know, it's about the fact that money's going to disappear. You've seen Bitcoin, and now with the new Apple thingamajiggy, we're just going to pay for something, you're just going to hold your phone up to a thing, and that's it, you paid, bye. And I was trying to read an explanation of how that would work, and it made absolutely no sense to me at all. But I have a feeling I will still be alive when that becomes a fact. So I will learn how to do that. And everything that I have ever known will probably change before I drop dead. I hope. But the energy required to keep up is really draining and is anxiety producing. And the person who I heard trying to explain how money will be obsolete soon was in his 20s. And he said, now this might be a little bit difficult for older people who have spent most of their lives with money to adjust to. He said older people in their 30s and 40s, that's what he said. He defined older people as 30s and 40s. And he was saying people in their 30s and 40s, we're going to have trouble adjusting. Whoa. It's a wonder I just didn't go back to bed. So, there's no time anymore. There's no time to get your feet under you, to get your balance. There's no time. The ground just keeps moving, and things keep moving away, and you keep having, and the thing is, and we can see it now, the rate of change is exponential. So what's a poor little human being to do? Well, this is what the rabbi and I were talking about. A poor little human being, old people in their 30s and 40s, who are anxious, want some solid ground under their feet, want things to make sense, want things to stop changing so much I don't know what. There is a place you can go. And you're seeing a lot of people going there. And that is fundamentalist religion. Something that's got it all down. Rule 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's how the world works. Here's how it started. Here's how it's going to end. Here in between is what you do. Blah, 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 blah. And as absurd as some of this stuff may sound, we are now witnessing what's going on in the Middle East, what's going on all over this globe that looks like it's coming apart at the seams. It is a clash of, you could break it down in half in a way. It's the people who can't take this anymore, who want some solidity, who are terrified of the future. And there are those who are gamely trying to keep up. But the forces that want to stop this have become truly frightening. You hear often that the lunatics over there, ISIS, the names that we have to keep learning, hate everything about us. Well, that's because we are emblematic of modernity in all its glory and its horror. And there's plenty of both. So I think anytime there is this kind of cataclysmic change, there's always trouble. big trouble as everyone tries to redefine. They're redefining borders over there now. Those borders were a bunch of bull anyway to start with. They're trying to figure out where you could argue that the whole idea of borders is absurd now in this world, nations. That's not where it's at anymore. And yet, those who are of a more primitive bent want desperately to have borders. Again, that's why they go to fundamentalist religion. That gives them lots of borders. I don't know. If I'm making any sense at all? I think I am. But I think in some ways it lets us, the individual, off the hook for having to do something about all of this. I don't know what we, the individual, can do other than try to keep up ourselves and to ameliorate the damage that's going to be done in what will be, I think, a constancy of change at a speed that the human animal cannot evolve quickly enough to keep up. There's just no way. I keep saying, what we essentially are is cavemen with smartphones. We're not much different than our forebears. Believe me. Hey. So, speaking of age, I came across this. 10 indisputable signs that you're old, that you're a boomer. And says, number 1, you saw the Beatles live. They didn't. I'm a boomer. The Beatles didn't get around to playing Green Bay. Can't imagine why. Then there's a picture of a rotary telephone. It says, you've used one of these. I still have one of those, as I've told you. It's a lethal object. It's so heavy. It's unbelievable. And number 3, you often look around and, yep, once again, you are the oldest person in the room. Yep. Oh, let's say your kids or your grandchildren want something vintage for like Halloween. They look in your closet. That's a sure sign. A sure sign. You participated in air raid drills. Your parents built a bomb shelter. Huh? One of them still says you think music sounds better on a vinyl record. You know what? I don't think that's a sign of age. I think that's a sign of youth. Because my 20-something is much more into vinyl than I am. He's the one collecting it. He's the one who said, can I have all your records when you die? I don't think he's gotten to the point where he'll bump me off for him, but he definitely has his eyes on my LPs. And then it says that you know you're an old fart if you know the joys of skating on steel roller skates. And then they have a picture of something that's not a steel roller skate. It looks like it's a whole boot. Do you remember what roller skates were? It really needed it needed some work. Roller skates were just these flat little things that fit on the bottom of your regular shoe, and it came with keys, which you twisted to tighten these little grippy things so that they would stay on your shoe, which, by the way, they never did. And so you essentially stuck these 4 little wheels on your regular shoes and then tightened them with these little keys you had, your roller skate key, and off you went, and it was ridiculous. It was bad design. It's all we had. We didn't have shoes that had wheels on them. My God. All right. There's a few others. They're stupid. Never mind. So, I am unclear what you guys would be interested in. It's not that there is no news to talk about. There is, unfortunately, a veritable plethora of news. And most of it just horrific. You don't want to talk about it. But if you do, I'd be glad to. You just got to let me know. Oh, yeah. So there. Oh, you know who I saw the other time? I'm sorry, I'm just blah, blah, blah. You know who I saw the other night on, I think, Bill Maher's show? Elizabeth Warren. Senator, Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren. Oh, my God. I would so vote for her over Hillary Clinton, you cannot imagine. That woman is who I want as President of the United States. She's a true progressive. Hillary Clinton is not, by a long shot. So even though I suppose Hillary Clinton is going to is running, 1, and will get the nomination, 2, I will, of course, fall in behind her and vote for her, but she troubles me a lot. Believe me, she won't trouble me as much as whoever the Republicans find. But this Elizabeth Warren, God, whoa. She's got it down. She's got it figured out. And she speaks of it with no parentheticals and little cushions to make her rhetoric more palatable. She flat out says that the plutocrats have taken over our government. All of the laws that are being passed are to safeguard their riches and to heck with the rest of us. And that this has been happening for decades now, and it is so ingrained that there is a danger that us, we the people, are getting close to a point where we're not going to be able to get our government back. Short of revolution. It's pretty heady and heavy stuff she speaks, but it is absolute truth. Speaking of those rich folks that have absconded with our government, speaking of those rich folks that the Supreme Court seems to think it's their responsibility to safeguard. Speaking of those rich folks, did you see the, I have a call. Okay, sorry. Hello, caller.
Sorry I interrupt you.
Oh, you have to interrupt me on this show. That's the way it works.
It's kind of hard, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to mention a couple things. When you talk about the politics and that, I never understood. Now, I'm not going to pick on Obama because he's not a bad guy. But when he was in there, he's going around talking about raising the minimum wage. Well, I don't know what kind of advisors was advising when he first got in there, but I thought when you had the Senate and the House, you could easily pass the bill to enact this thing in 2 years. You could have done that. So to talk about it now is like, pretty stupid if you ask me. And another thing, this Obamacare, it's not, or affordable health care, it's not that great. I'll give you an instance. My daughter, she's married, she has a child. She looked into it. It would have cost her $800 a month with her income.
Good God.
And a deductible of $6,300. So you tell me how that's affordable health care. That's what I say. I don't know what the people are paying $98 a month, what kind of coverage you're getting, but I bet you there's deductibles, there's co-pays. And a person that don't have a big income, I don't think, it's almost like you have insurance, but you really can't afford to use it. Kind of like we are with Blue Cross or any of the others.
Yeah.
They didn't solve the problem. That's just...
Well, I think it's true. They did not solve the problem because our dysfunctional government and would not let them solve the problem. Everybody knows there is a system that does work, that is more equitable, and it's called single payer. It's but in this country, we refuse because that's socialism. It works.
Yes, it does.
It is more humane. It is certainly more equitable. Anyway, Obamacare is what was allowed to get through, and it's all of its quirks and warts and all of this are because it was cobbled together through whatever was possible to get through this ossified Congress of ours. I don't know. And then the Supreme Court did a job on it. Mm-hmm. And the Supreme Court might do another job on it. They've apparently taken a case that could further impede or cripple Obamacare. We're a country that just doesn't work very well anymore.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
We could solve problems, but we don't want to.
We don't have... Okay, bye.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know. I do not know. Chuck writes, regarding changes in technology, I find the current tempest of change specific to the television industry fascinating. Case in point, I have neighbors, a new couple in their 20s, opting not to purchase a traditional TV package from Comcast or Verizon. Oh, you bet they don't. Instead, they have only sounds like my kid. Instead, they have only an internet connection, and they watch TV via Amazon Prime or Netflix, and they get their local programming over the air for free. So here I am, you idiot, forking out $150 a month for Verizon Fios, and those kids are paying $35 a month for internet, $8 for Netflix, and $6 for something else. Amazon Prime or something. Their wallets and their free time will be better off in the long run. That is correct. No, but whatever it is they're doing, don't worry, it will change. The delivery systems of all these will change as the big boys figure out how to make money off of it. So, ultimately, your kids will probably end up paying the equivalent of $150 a month, too. Don't worry. Anything that seemingly works for the consumer like that will get reconfigured. And it will be reconfigured because agencies like the FCC or the, who else would be involved in something like that? FCC, SEC, all of that alphabet soup of regulatory agencies who now pretty much work not for we the people, but for the corporate America, will see to it that no one's going to get what they want for $35 a month. That's my bet. But call me a cynic. Or call me an old fart who's lived long enough to see what goes on. Okay, I am getting some strange... all right. Blah, 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 blah. So what I was trying to say when the phone call came in is wealthy Americans. Did you see the piece that came out, Associated Press, I believe, over this weekend? And it's taken from data that is available from the IRS. And it is an analysis that is regularly done by the Chronicle of Philanthropy. And that's a group that likes to know who's giving what to whom in the charitable realm. And it turns out that the richest Americans are giving less than they did 6 years ago, considerably less, even as they're raking in more. So that Americans who earn $200,000 or more have reduced the share of their income that they give to charity by 4.6%. Well, maybe that's not considerable, but it is when you start adding up the dollars. And isn't it interesting that the people that don't have all that money, those earning less than, those that are not in six figures, those earning less than $100,000, have in the same period upped their giving by the same, 4.5%. So the rich get richer and give less. The poor get less. I mean, not the poor, the people hanging on get less but give more. And you know, my only sense of why this would be is that the rich in this country are more and more totally disengaged from the rest of us. They don't know us. They don't want to know us. They don't socialize with us. They don't go to school with us. They don't have anything to do with us. And so they don't see people struggle. But those making under 100,000 might actually still be seeing people struggle. They might still take public transportation. They might still actually get out and about and rub shoulders with people who struggle month to month. And because I think they see it, they're more inclined to give, to ameliorate, exactly what I was saying, what we individuals can do in this crazy world is ameliorate the suffering caused by this constant change and by the fact that our institutions can't or won't keep up. And the reality is that the rich, when they do give, they don't give to things that help poor people. They don't give to soup kitchens. The rich don't give to soup kitchens. The rich don't give to put clothes on the backs of people or get school supplies to poor districts. The rich don't give to social programs. It slips their mind because, as I said, they don't see the need. The rich give to the rich. So that some rich plutocrat dies somewhere, and where does he leave his $750, $800 million? Where does he leave that? He leaves it to Harvard. Harvard has an endowment so huge that it could, in fact, allow all of the students who attend it to pay nothing. They don't need tuition payments. Harvard should be scouring the world for poor, brilliant people and bringing them in. The rich give to the rich. The rich give to the symphonies. The rich give to the arts. The rich give to the rich. They never, well, almost never, look down. Now, obviously, I'm engaging in generalization, but it's generalization that is backed up by reality. There are good rich people. I know a few. But the overall trend is for the rich to give their charitable dollars to the rich. It's hard. It's hard to tolerate it if you're me. All right, so Dorothea writes, I'd like to remind everyone that today is the last day, thank you, Dorothea, to register to vote in this upcoming November election. The latest polls show the Republicans are probably going to take the Senate, which is to say that Barack Obama's last 2 years in the White House, he will have a totally Republican-controlled Congress. We've seen what happens when he has a Republican-controlled House and the Democrats holding the upper house, the Senate, with just a few votes. You know what happens? We saw, right? Nothing. Because everybody knows to have anything happen, you have to have the House and the Senate agree on a bill before it gets to the president. Nothing's being done. Nothing. So, with a Republican House and a Republican Senate, guess what? Stuff will get done. But we ain't gonna like it. With a Republican House and a Republican Senate, how long do you think it'll take for the Congress to pass a measure repealing Obamacare or crippling it to the point that it cannot function anymore? They will spend all of their time trying to undo absolutely any progress that has occurred. And in certain cases where the president will, I'm sure he'll spend every time a bill comes to his desk, he'll veto it. That's still his right and privilege. But then it goes back to the Congress, and it could well be that the Congress is going to be able to override. So we're either going to have what we have now, which is just total stasis, total gridlock, or we're going to have worse. And why are all these Republicans going to win? Well, because Democrats, the Democratic base, thinks there's only one election, and it happens every 4 years, and it's when the President of the United States is chosen. And that's when Democrats vote. And then they go to sleep. We've got a caller. Hello.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Is everybody getting Lynn with an echo, or is it just our computer?
Oh, you're talking to me. Am I echoing?
Oh, Lynn, yes, you are. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, maybe it's our computer. I don't know. All right. Thank you.
Well, it's a good question to ask. If I have an echo, will you let us know where the sound system isn't a... I think the sound system we have here was put in place for the sole purpose of driving me crazy. Okay? If you're getting an echo, please let us know, because I need to know. There are certain powers that be here that keep telling me everything's fine. And I keep saying, so if you would. I appreciate it. Thank you. I was in Dorothea's email. The latest poll showed the GOP picking up 7 seats in the Senate, which would give them a majority. Although Pennsylvania doesn't have an impact on the senatorial election, we can impact the House, which is supposed to pick up even more Republican seats. And if there's any of you in Kentucky, Dorothea wants to say, get rid of Mitch McConnell, please. Listen, right here, you have Keith Roth. Keith Roth. Anyone who has a name I can't pronounce, I don't like. And he is the incumbent over there in Republicanville. And he's got a great challenger, Erin McClellan. She's been on this show. She's smart. A lot better looking than he is, too, I must say. That wasn't sexist. Is it sexist if a woman says it about a woman? Yeah, it probably is. It was sexist. And please, give her money, vote for her, go door to door, do whatever. Let's get Rothfuss out, at least. That'd be nice. Okay, so here's something wonderful that happened over the weekend. And it's... It's wonderful, but it's wonderful because it's creative and I just think it was brilliant and well done. And this is that flash mob protest that occurred at intermission of the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. Brilliant. Brilliant. And it was an effort to tell the mostly, I'm sure, the overwhelmingly, I'm sure, white, older, privileged audience sitting in the symphony that what happened in Ferguson needed to be addressed and that there was no business as usual. And so if you hadn't heard it, what they did was, right before the symphony started up again, one man rose in the audience bravely and started to sing that old protest song. It's actually an old Union song, I think. Which side are you on, boys? Which side are you on? And then proceeded for the new words about justice for Michael Brown is justice for us all. And as he sang it, another person stood up in another section and joined him. And then someone in the balcony stood up and joined. Which side are you on? And a picture of Michael Brown was unfurled from the balcony. And more people stood and sung. And what did the audience do? Interestingly, many applauded. Interestingly, members of the St. Louis Orchestra, who were interrupted, applauded. And then when these people were done, from the balcony came a shower of paper hearts, I believe. And on it was printed Requiem for Michael Brown. And also on the other side of it was information on how to get involved. And then all of the people there were about 50 of them that had participated in this event, got out of their seats and walked out. No arrests, no trouble, but it was beautifully thought out, beautifully done. To the caller, I'm getting a lot of emails from people saying they have no echo. Okay? So, must be your computer. I appreciate, really, anytime we get any of these things, it's good to know, because sometimes, I get these things all the time. I don't know if they're related to one person's smartphone or one person's computer or... So if you don't mind me interrupting things to ask whether or not it's happening to you, I do appreciate it. It's good information for us to have. Oh, so the latest thing is Joe Biden, our vice president, has had to call, like, the head of Turkey, the head of the United Arab Emirates, and apparently apologize for having spoken the truth. Did your mother ever tell you when you were a kid that honesty is the best policy? I know, I've been talking about this lately a lot. Well, sure, it is, until you get out into the real world and you find that honesty will get you in terrible trouble. That honesty is not allowed. That honesty is not good for your political future. That honesty is not good for your corporate future. That honesty is not good for promotion in whatever workplace you're in. As a matter of fact, one of the things that was said over and over again about the dysfunction at the Secret Service was that people there were afraid to be honest. They were afraid to say, excuse me, I believe there's like a bullet hole in the window of the White House. Those are not cars backfiring or some gang warfare nearby. No, honesty was discouraged. So Biden said that Turkey and the UAE, our supposed allies, were, in fact, they had helped ISIS. They had helped them grow. And you know what? That's true. But the way the world works is, having spoken the truth, he had to call the people he had spoken the truth about and tell them, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to imply that you did what you did. I can't even imagine what would that apology even sound like? So he had to call Erdogan, or whatever the hell that jerk's name is in Turkey, and say, hey, between the two of us, I spoke the truth, but now I'm really sorry I did. I mean, what does that apology sound like? Then Biden then has to lie, and on the other end, a Turkey guy and the sheik in UAE say, well, yes, maybe I'll accept your apology. When everybody knows it's just lies. How do you function in environments like that? I can't imagine. Jeez. Rich wanted me to know that 3 high school football players died this week. Yes, I saw that too. It's unclear if all those deaths were related to football or, autopsies will have to be done. But it is troublesome. I did see that. And I did, I turned on the TV yesterday late afternoon, and there was some football game on, and the guy was saying, I guess it was Denver, Colorado, right? Denver, Arizona. And the guy was saying, well, I mean, with the injuries, too, the 2 quarterbacks? Is that what I heard him say? That one quarterback came in and was carted off, and then another quarterback came in and was carted. I don't know what I said. But often, when you just tune into a game, all that's going on is there's a stoppage because someone's being carted off the field, or the commentary is about that. And then I saw something that was just unbelievable, where they were talking a lot about breast cancer. Football game, they're talking about breast cancer, excuse me. Oh, and it turned out to be, I guess, it's the pink ribbon stuff and the this and the that. And the players wear pink shoes or do whatever, and there's all this pink stuff, showing that the NFL really cares about women's health. I mean, come on! What nonsense! Spare me! I don't know how you can sit through this shit. You look at those wonderful young men on the field and you know that they're harming themselves for our entertainment. How can you enjoy that? I don't know. I give up. Okay, just to give... good quality. Okay. So we're not getting any other audio concerns, which is good. I'm stunned. It is a very odd time to take a break, but I'm going to do so nonetheless. Simply so, Celine, our new producer, can practice taking a break. Okay? Quickie. We'll be right back.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
BergBargains.com is your best bet for great deals in the Berg. Log on today for exclusive bargains from Molly's Trolley's Terror Trolley, Bangkok Balcony, Verde, Just Ducky Tours, and Go Ape. BergBargains.com, Pittsburgh's best bargains. BergBargains.com. Download the brand new CP Haps app and find out what's going on in Pittsburgh. It's the fun and free app that puts the most popular events at your fingertips. Text events to 77948 to download now and register to win tickets to Pittsburgh versus New Orleans at Heinz Field on November 30th. The CP Haps app, brought to you by Pittsburgh City Paper.
Welcome to Move Time Radio, presented by the Arthritis Foundation. And we're smack dab in the middle of our dance-a-thon to fight arthritis pain. Me, I've been grooving for 10 hours straight, baby, but I'm a boogie machine. See, movement is just one of the ways to help fight osteoarthritis pain. Another is weight loss. You get rid of just 1 pound. That's 4 pounds of pressure off each knee. For more information on managing pain, visit fightarthritispain.org. Then meet me on the dance floor. This message brought to you by the Arthritis Foundation and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Once again, here's Lynn Cullen.
Huh? So somebody's telling me that Which Side Are You On is an old civil rights song? I mean, an old... Yeah. No, and part of the civil rights movement I think it was a union. It was a union song. No? Well, it can be employed. From the article, the orchestra and chorus were preparing to perform Johannes Brahms' Requiem just after intermission when 2 audience members in the middle aisle on the main floor began singing an old civil rights tune. Which side are you on? As an old union maid myself, I think it's a union song. Not to say that I couldn't be wrong, because I think union rights are civil rights. Same sort of thing. So it's a rhetorical thing. P.S. I'm surprised the Democrats gave up on Natalie Tennant in West Virginia so easily. It was a chance to pick up a woman Democrat in the Senate, and she was only one of the 2 candidates who have previously won statewide election there. But hey, West Virginians do little as easy as rolling over and accepting defeat, and Democrats as a whole do not seem far behind lately. Running as a Democrat statewide in West Virginia is whoa. I mean, that state, the Democrats that do get elected out of there are often just barely Democrats, because you can't get, you can't get elected there. Yeah, West Virginia. They're in a state of... I don't want to pile on or anything, but man, West Virginia has been a state that has been bought and owned by, the coal companies, by corporate entities forever. And the people there have lived that way for so long. I just don't. And the only reason West Virginia was a Democratic state was because of the union, because of the coal miners' union, and because they said, "Hey guys, you miners, you gotta vote for the Democrats, because they're the only ones who give a damn about you, and even they don't care much." But West Virginia was full of those kinds of Union Democrats, and those Democrats turned out to be Democrats only by virtue of their employ. On social issues, they're Republicans. On gun issues, they're Republicans. On all those emotional issues, they're Republicans. We got a call. Hello? Caller? Hello?
Hello. I haven't heard the last couple minutes of your show.
You have not?
I don't know what you were talking about. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the one that sent that message about Natalie Tennant, and she actually is a pro-choice candidate. And the other people keep talking about how you can't win a statewide election there, but both of their senators are currently Democrats. Their governor is a Democrat. So I guess I don't quite know. I know they didn't vote for Obama in either election, but that's the reason they're considered a red state, and they're just completely given up on. And that would be one extra person to keep in the Senate, to keep it a Democratic Senate.
Well, they are so intent. They are so intent in West Virginia on hating Obama that I just.
But that was the case when they elected Manchin.
But Manchin was a popular governor who was well known. And
Natalie Tennant is very well known in that state as well.
Mm-hmm.
She used to be the Mountaineer.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
The mascot.
Yeah, she was the only female Mountaineer.
Well, that's worth a few votes.
Yeah, I think that's why she's currently the Secretary of State, which is elected there.
Yeah.
But she's just dismissed and given up on from the word go, even by every Democrat I ever knew in the state, even the ones that were working in her campaign.
Oh, God.
Never made any sense. I don't get it. But
well, you know what? They know their state, and they must know she doesn't have a chance. And the money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'd say that.
Yeah.
And as somebody that used to live in the state, that's the attitude of everybody in the state towards everything. Everything is impossible, so let's give up.
Well, I think, right, because West Virginia, and this is what I was saying, have been under the thumb of corporate entities forever, and they just sort of have stopped fighting.
Right.
And they were Democrats only by virtue of being the mine workers.
Mine workers.
The mine workers.
They have a lot of other pretty strong unions there, but
mine workers were the biggie.
I think it's right now. It's as much as anything, it's the NRA and the last couple of coal workers in the state.
Well, that's what it is. So it's because coal is dying, and they're scared, and they see the Democrats and environmentalists and all this Democratic stuff as what's hurting them.
Well, the other thing is that Democrats still hold it's like 2-1 or 3-1 registration, but they don't. I know some of them are voting Republican, but that doesn't change the fact that you got a chance to elect a pro-choice, pro-gun, pro-coal mining woman who would have still held the Senate.
Yeah, but let me just tell you this, that all of those Democratic registered voters you're talking about are not pro-choice. They are not for anything that she stands for. They're too lazy to change their registration to what they are, which is Republican. Don't you agree?
That may be, but if you take a drive through, there's definitely there were plenty of Obama voters down there, and there's all the people that voted for Manchin 2 years ago. So her policies and stances are the same as his, and she's as well known as he is.
Well, so she's
a little bit of extra. I just don't think it was should have been given up on a year ago.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
Bye. Bye. I don't know. It's beyond me. The Republican Party, as far as I can see, is a party on its way to oblivion. They're like the guys who would prefer fundamentalist religion over reality, because they're the guys who like borders, boundaries, everything set, and blah, 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 blah. And the world is not, working out that way. So I just think they're dinosaurs. But the dinosaurs are apparently going to have their day in November. Maybe everybody keeps saying it's the last hurrah. Who knows? Because their voters, frankly, are dying. And if enough of them shuffle off their mortal coil in the next 2 to 4 years, the Republicans will never win another national election. They'll never win another national election. But they do, because of gerrymandering, still win. We're going to end up, our government ain't working anymore. We're going to have a constant Democrat in the White House dealing with a Republican Congress. And eventually, though, we're going to get the Supreme Court, because the president appoints the court. Now, granted, the Senate has to okay it, but we have a better chance. Democrats have a much better chance of taking the Senate back. The House, it's gone. I think it's gone, barring some incredible cataclysm or revolution of a sort. All right, guys, I think that's it. I think it's pretty much it. So tomorrow, geez, we're back in the saddle. Tomorrow, my sister Susan will join us, or attempt to, because we haven't had someone on the phone since that interview that I want to forget about with Dennis Palumbo that none of you could apparently hear. So I will be praying for the audio gods to be kind to us tomorrow, and I will also be praying that you will join us, okay? Have a wonderful day. It's a beaut. Toodaloo.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.